Howdy folks, welcome to Bullish on Farming. Today's March 17th, evening check on the herd. A lot has changed since our last video. I took some videos while I'd like to get it when we had more snow on the ground because it's been a really hard thaw. But the days have been so windy I can't post the videos, you can't hear anything but and so here we are, March 17th, hardest thaw ever. Yesterday the farm was absolutely flooded. The snow disappeared in about 48 hours and it started melting away about 5 days ago, but then it just accelerated. Things stayed above zero. Anyways, we're happy that the snow's gone, but it happened a little quick. So we've made some changes. We've opened up a new paddock and it's higher and drier. So what we're finding about this field, which could have noticed before, but I didn't really notice it until we everything melted at once and we got a rain and things started to flood, and the ground seemed to take into much better now here a day later. But I have a wire up and it's sectioned off January and February's manure deposit because the cows don't need to be there when things are wet and temperatures are changing, and they'll maybe want to use the residuals for bedding, and what's the point? We have space. So sectioning that off restricts access to that biofield and it's best put to work by resting and recovering now. It doesn't need more animal impact. So you can see we got a few cows grazing, and I do have a bale rolled out from this morning. So the cows have been grazing for about 48 hours, and we got a freeze overnight last night, so it firmed up the ground, pretty good. I saw it as a chance to bring out the tractor, roll out a bale, supplement with that to help them transition into grazing, because we're still discovering whether or not this is going to be enough for the cows. And it's got feed. A lot of it is done for, meaning just carbon cover on top, and the cows are grazing it though, and there's hay out here, so we're going to be monitoring their body condition and see how they do. And when they were grazing this stuff in December, which was just the lower parts of this field before we started bale grazing, the cows were doing pretty good on it. And we would supplement a bale every second or third day. And even if we have to do that and that works, I mean, that's big. Because you're only feeding about 1/3 the amount of hay that you would if you weren't able to graze. And I guess it's pretty much just monitoring and moving from there for us, because it's our first time doing this on this farm. And I know that this field isn't spectacular, but it's great positioning for the winter program. We have our pond for natural water access, multiple bush sections for bush barns, winter housing for the cattle. It really helps us keep them on the land. And then a large enough field for the herd we have right now, so that when we kick into spring, which has come quite sudden, we have something to move to. And it just so happens that this field gets higher and drier, and that's what you want in spring. We're expecting calves in May. We're going to see how far this gets us. I anticipate us being on the pastures past that barn come May, and grazing into the spring flush, which we did last year on that particular field, which is where we keep our pigs too, works really well if we have a strong flush, and it keeps our cows on the land calving. And that's the plan. So they're going to clean up this bale, probably another 12 hours of feed yet, and then as things are staying mild, I'm going to observe them and how they're grazing, what's available. And every second or third day, I'm going to be anticipating to bring out a bale now, and when things get warm enough, I'm going to see if we can bring out bales every 3 to 4 days. However, we want healthy cows going into calving, We're not going to sacrifice their body condition. And, you know, we might give some kelp meal throughout the way just to keep their mineral intake up and keep these cows fat and healthy and making sure they're getting everything that they need to follow through with a calf with a great start. And so we don't usually have mineral with the cows, but this would be a time where I would supplement. And I find that the kelp meal here where we are is done really well. And it has all the trace minerals that we would want our cows to have. And we just put that with the salt lick and maybe some diatomaceous earth at this time to run some things through the system and, you know, keep those cows proactively healthy in that last trimester to follow through with everything going smooth, hopefully. And we trust it will. Oh, it's nice to not see the snow. We got a gravel skirt on the edge of the pond, which I guess we can go take a look at. But you can see these cows, what are they choosing to do? What we love them doing. And this is a steer right here, so this is perfect. We've gotten through our winter, haven't had a bite of grain. This is actually our smallest steer too. Let's go take a look at this one over here. And you can see, like there's feed there. It's just about, you know, is it gonna do what we want it to do? It's our first time doing it on the land here. And, you know, there's great carbon cover all over the place. So having the cows, you know, rolling the bales helps spread them out while they're eating hay. But grazing, they naturally do that if the paddocks are sized right. And when you keep them spread out and you have good carbon matting, and I know it just looks like I'm looking at that section because, you know, it is thick. But let's take a look around. Like the cows walking around on this, I feel really good. Allowing them to just spread out and graze. You know, like we were grazing this stuff in December and it was good. I wouldn't say it was like, you know, amazing. But, you know, when you're keeping the cows on the land with an intention to graze when conditions are favorable, is it always going to be amazing? Maybe it is if you've stewarded the land for, you know, 10 to 15 years. But when you're working with some places that are not quite where you would like them to be, but it's all a work in progress because, you know, you're doing the best you can to steward the land year after year. This is the bush section over here. Nice and dry, no animals in here for a year. That's the way we like to start spring. You know, I don't want my cows to be starting spring in the same place that they endured January and February. That's why we've got it sectioned off over there. Why even let the cows go there? And it's a higher impact method when you're doing the static bale grazing. But when you keep it concentrated to a certain area, you see, and the proportion to the field is a certain way. Like most of January, February's bale grazing was done all there. And so it's potent and it's concentrated, and naturally it was that way because of the aggressive snowy winter we had this year and, you know, how far we could come with the bales. But all of this has been rested for stockpiling, grazing, doing what we're doing now, and coming in as an option as soon as the snow melts away. And it happened quick. And, you know, we were flooded over yesterday. I'm happy to see the way things look now. You know, it's hard to see a lot of the manure because things are wet. But let's go just take a glance as we head over to the water. So this is what we got sectioned off. Black gold mine, baby. All that put to work. And, you know, it can rest straight till next winter. You know, I can bring the cows in this field, but I can still keep that sectioned off, come graze this late June, depending on how it looks, just so that it could grow out for winter stockpile. And we could stop it from going to head and catch it so that it could boost up from a vegetative state. But really, overall feeling good about this transition. Sometimes when the weather changes quick, you know, it's like, what do we do with the animals, especially when you're outside? This is what we threw up here right on the edge. Those of you who run cows and let them just drink from a pond, you know why this is important. And so happy to get that laid down. Got it laid down pretty much as soon as the snow was gone, and I could scrape this back, then lay some gravel on top of it. So yeah, got plenty of grass, watching things closely to see if it's gonna follow through with the sufficiency that we hope it provides for our cattle. This is an area that was recently consumed bales, which was just in the past week and a half. So, you know, it leaves some bedding here for now, and you know, I feel better about that. It's a small quarter, and it's not winter's entire muck. And the ground's intact over there. You know, we didn't really get any punching because we only static bale grazed when it was frozen. And we transitioned into grazing pretty smoothly. I didn't have any bales left out that would cause punching in those last few days. And so, yeah, folks, I think I'm gonna cap it off here. I'd like to say thanks for stopping by, and God bless you all. I'll see you on the next one.